Hello everybody, Crypto Chaperone here, and today we're going to take a look at the cryptocurrency markets, and then I'm going to talk to you about how you can get your feet into this cryptocurrency space that is growing massively. As you can see, our market cap is now pushed up to $567 billion. It has grown massively from the $14 billion it was at the beginning of this year, around $14-15 billion, and it is pushed up to a new all-time high of over $550 billion, which I don't think anybody could have imagined it getting before the end of 2018 or 17. And we still have about 2 weeks left in this year for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to continue to push new all-time highs before the end of the year. If you've been paying attention to any of my other videos, I also talked about there could be a potential pullback or something coming up because all of these cryptocurrencies, as well as the whole cryptocurrency space, has been growing massively at an exponential rate over these past month. So we could see some bit of a pullback as you have a lot more regular investors start to put their money in. You might have a coordinated pool from actual big money investors who have had their money into this for a while and are going to be just taking out small profits, which are going to be a lot of most everybody's investments that is just coming into this. So if that does happen, you want to make sure you hold on to that. But if you are somebody who is still looking to get into cryptocurrencies, I know that every day you see ads on TV, you see news reports of cryptocurrency, of Bitcoin, how it's grown so much over the past year, how it's grown over 16 times. And it's just massive, and everybody wants in. So if you can see today, Bitcoin is now at $19,000. So if you would have purchased Bitcoin early in the year, you would have been able to get it for around $1,000, less than $1,000. You would have been able to get it for less than 4 digits. So you would have been able to make a decent amount of money depending on where you got it. Now, Ethereum has grown massively too. Ethereum was also down in like the $4 range, $5 range at the beginning of this year. I think somewhere around there, and it has grown up massively. Maybe it was actually the $8 range, I think, $7.58 range maybe, but it has grown up massively, and people are looking for this next coin to invest in. But while they're looking for this next coin to invest in, they also have to look for a way to get into this cryptocurrency space. A lot of people talk about how Bitcoin is very easy to purchase, but on the other hand, you have a lot of people who don't know how to get into cryptocurrency. So today I'm going to be talking about a couple ways that you can get your foot into this ever-growing cryptocurrency space. Now, I did talk about how in one of my previous videos a while ago, I did use a cryptocurrency ATM, and you can just put hard cash right into the ATM machine and pull out a cryptocurrency, more or less. You can scan your wallet and it would send whatever amount you sent. Some of these machines are beginning to integrate more cryptocurrencies, so you'll be able to pick what cryptocurrency you want. But for now, the one I use is just Bitcoin. So based on their transaction rate for whatever the price is and their percentage that they add onto it, you put in your amount, and whatever you buy worth of Bitcoin gets sent to your wallet, minus the fees and whatnot, and then you can do with what you want with the Bitcoin after it goes to your wallet. And that's something I really like about a cryptocurrency ATM machine, is because when you do scan it, it's getting sent directly to your wallet. Now, a lot of these things that I'm going to be talking about today aren't necessarily your wallet that you're going to own. It's kind of a wallet on a separate entity's servers, and you've kind of got like a subsidiary wallet within their major wallet and within their hot wallet, more or less. And if anything were to happen to one of these sites or one of these companies, or if they were to get hacked or something like that, more or less, and you don't have your private keys and everything on a wallet, or your cryptocurrencies on a wallet where you do possess the private keys or whatnot, then you're going to lose them. And on these sites, you do not possess the private keys, so you would pretty much lose your cryptocurrencies. So that being said, if you do want to buy on any of the sites that I mentioned today, or if you are buying and purchasing cryptocurrencies or want to store cryptocurrencies, or if you're trading daily even on exchanges, make sure to always pull your cryptocurrencies into a secure wallet, something that you know you have ownership of if something was to happen, so you can always recover those. So here we are with the first place where I'm sure most people buy and sell their cryptocurrencies from the general public that are just getting introduced into cryptocurrencies. I say that because this app for this company has now shot up to the #1 app in the United States, Apple Store and the Google Play Store. It's shot up, if not #1, it was up there for a second or so, but it has massively risen up in the ranks because everybody wants to get invested in this. and the company that is Coinbase. Now, I am, not really the biggest fan of Coinbase, because they've had recent issues while they're working with the IRS and everything. Now, that is because they are a US based company. I've talked about how Bittrex is also a US based company, and that's why I kind of have a little bit of faith in them. When you have a lot of these exchanges that are kind of laundering money and working with bad people, and they have the potential of getting taken down, kind of like how you had what was it, like BTCE was laundering money, and pretty much the exchange got shut down because what a lot of people thought was the money laundering, and they went after the exchange or whoever was owning the exchange and tried to shut it down. And that could potentially happen with a lot of other exchanges, and when they work in the United States, they kind of follow a little bit more strict laws. That being said, Coinbase follows these strict laws. So when the IRS comes knocking at Coinbase's door, Coinbase did fight back with, it was like $100 million in lawsuits that they were fighting, and court costs and everything that they put up. But they ended up having to give over some client information to the IRS based on how much they spent via transaction-wise in Bitcoin throughout the years. So based on that, that is one reason why Coinbase isn't one of my favorite things. That's not really the reason I'm not a fan of them. I'm not a fan of them because I've had multiple occasions where I was purchasing via my bank account where it takes 4 days to release, and if you do buy it it takes 4 business days more or less to release. So if you do buy it on a Friday, they don't count Saturday and Sunday, so it might not release until next Thursday. So based on whatever the Bitcoin's price does or did, I was actually getting my transactions canceled after they were taking the money out because Bitcoin was going up 60 and 70%, and this was back in the very fluctuative times back in the it was back in like 2014 and 2015, and I wasn't buying that many Bitcoins, but still they were going up like 60-70%, and the day that they were supposed to release, my transaction was end up getting canceled, and then my money was getting returned to my account, and it happened about 2 or 3 times, and I just got kind of fed up with it. So that being said, you can still purchase Bitcoins on this if you are somebody who is just an everyday person who wants to step into this space and get your feet wet with it. This is definitely something you want to do. Now, that being said, you want to purchase your Bitcoins on here, hook everything up that you need to, and you want to pull your Bitcoins out into a private wallet. Personally, I use Bread Wallet, but you can also use I think it's like Jack's Wallet. You could download any sort of a wallet from like bitcoinwallet.com or whatever it is. There's tons of places where you can generate a wallet where you can create your own private keys and you actually have ownership of it. If it's kept on this wallet, you do not have ownership of it. So if something were to happen and you more or less don't have proof of whatever you bought, and they can't really reimburse you for those things, then if you don't have proof for it, it's probably best to just keep it in your own ownership, especially when there's so many people trying to scam and phish you more or less as this space grows. As I keep talking about, more people are trying to get this ever-growing valuable asset. So I'm going to show you how to sign up for Coinbase real quick. All you do is you want to click up here right at the top. You got your sign-in thing. You want to put in your name. Whether you're a name or a business is going to give you different things that you can do through your account. If you're an individual, you'll be able to hook up like just your card and I think your bank account. If you're a business, you'll have more buying opportunities, more things to hook up through. You'll be able to become a merchant and possibly accept Bitcoin through whatever you do and whatnot. And as Coinbase does grow, this is pretty much the number one public way that people do invest in cryptocurrencies. So you have a lot of these people who are speculative on what's going to be the next currency that is added to Coinbase, and that has caused a lot of these currencies to spike recently because Coinbase has talked about adding more cryptocurrencies in the beginning of 2018. So that should be in the next month or two. If it's going to be in the very beginning quarter of 2018, that they should be adding these cryptocurrencies. So a lot of people are trying to get into this. So if you go through here, all it's going to make you do is type in your name. So we'll put in crypto chaperone and we'll put in something. More or less, you just want to sign up. I'm not going to sign up for this. You want to verify that you're not a robot. Certify that you're 18 years of age if you are 18 years of age, and then you will sign up for your account. It'll send you a verification email, and after that you verify it by clicking on it in your email account, and you'll be able to access pretty much the Coinbase platform. Now, once you get on there, you will not necessarily be able to buy Bitcoins instantly. You're going to have to put a little bit more information of yours out there before you are able to buy cryptocurrencies. You're going to have to attach potentially your debit or credit card if you want to buy Bitcoins that way, or you can attach your bank account and buy Bitcoins that way. Either way you do it, I'm fairly sure you have to have a picture of your ID front and back and a picture of you holding your ID. Maybe not holding it, but you definitely have to verify your identification. You have to put in potentially, I think, your social security number and everything. It has been a while since I signed up for it, and I do not want to sign up for it again, so I don't really want to go through this whole sign up with you guys. But if you do want to do it, this is the main way to do it. This is the main way that the general public is kind of stepping into cryptocurrencies, but you are going to have to provide a little bit extra information because this is, as I talked about, a US based company, so they are going to be following the law to a T. And if the IRS, does come knocking at their door when Bitcoin hits 100,000 and they say, hey, I need everybody that bought more than $10,000 or $15,000 in Bitcoin back in 2017's information, then they're going to obviously start to work with them more and more, because they're not going to want to spend all this money on court costs and everything throughout time. So you're going to want to make sure that you are buying your Bitcoin just the best way that you can. If you're somebody who's going to be putting your life savings into this, like $30,000-$40,000 maybe, or moving all of your stocks into this, or if you're an investor, something like that, and somebody that's not like a major investor on Wall Street, but just kind of like a personal investor, somebody that just kind of day trades for a living, if you're trying to slowly move into this or something or whatnot, and you're going to be putting a large sum of money, there might be alternate ways to do that. So the next way I'm going to look at is going to be one of those alternate ways to do that. And it's actually going to offer you a lot of alternate ways to do that. And that website is LocalBitcoins.com. Now, LocalBitcoins.com is, it can be a great website or it can be an awful website, depending on if you know how to use it or not. We'll go through this real quick, and I will basically just show you how to use LocalBitcoins.com. So if we go through here real quick, it will show you basically a few ways to purchase Bitcoins. Now, you can go up here and you can click on all of their methods. Based on where you're at, you will have different methods. So if you're in Sweden or Switzerland, you're going to have different methods rather than if you're in Venezuela or Zimbabwe or the United Kingdom or the United States or whatnot. So we're going to stay with the United States. Now, Local Bitcoins, they do take a little fee out of every transaction that you do on their site. Now, basically what happens on localbitcoins.com is you have a seller and you have a buyer. Now, if you are going to be purchasing Bitcoins, you are the buyer, and you're going to be buying them from a seller, somebody else who has their Bitcoins already. So what the seller is going to do more or less is they're going to take their Bitcoins and they're going to sell them to, or send them to a wallet on this website. And after they get sent to the wallet on the website, the wallet is going to be more or less an escrow, or the website is going to act as an escrow for your transaction. And that means more or less that the website is going to be a middleman to verify that the transaction takes place, that you do send the money, that it is a real authentic transaction that takes place, that they do have the Bitcoins or whatever, Bitcoins in the account, and that they are released to you when you release the money to them. And if you run into any problems, they'll help you out based on their support, because based on whatever you do, you should definitely have the most receipts or whatever you do from your transaction, more or less. Pretty much what happens on here is the seller would load up, potentially if I wanted to buy one Bitcoin, the seller would move their Bitcoin, or they might have multiple Bitcoin on a wallet on this site, and I would be able to purchase one or whatever portion of Bitcoins they have on this site. And a lot of them will have limits, and this is more or less what they have in their wallet or what they are limited on selling throughout the day. So if these people have, $700 in their wallet, they might be only doing a $700 transaction like these people. More or less, this means what their minimum to maximum transaction is. So some of these people will not do a transaction less than $700. Now, if you click on some of these, you also want to check out everybody's feedback. Now, if you look at this is their name. The next one is how many transactions they have done, and the last one is their feedback score, their percentage of feedback. So we'll check this out. This is a Walmart to Walmart payment. Now, more or less what this is you go into Walmart. There's a money center in the front of Walmart, like the service center. You go up and you can do a Walmart to Walmart transaction where you just pay them. You'll fill out the slip. They'll send the money to another Walmart, wherever these people would pretty much want you to send the money, and they would pick the money up, and then they would release the Bitcoins to your possession through, or more or less, your local Bitcoins account possession, and then you would be able to pull your Bitcoins out into your personal wallet. So what would happen from here is you would click on it, you would sign in. You would pretty much have to sign in. I'm not going to sign in, but if you do want to sign up for this account, you would go up here, sign in. It's definitely easier than signing up for a Coinbase. You click sign in, put a username, all that. Another thing that you're going to want to do when you do sign into here and when you sign up for Coinbase is you're going to want to make sure that you do activate the two-factor authentication, which is going to pretty much just be, you can use Google Authenticator, or you can use the Authy app. That's something I use because Google Authenticator is a little bit more difficult to recover on a new device, but Authy, all you have to do is have a password and recover it and stuff like that. And you can use even different apps for different programs or whatever you want to use. So if you want to use Google Authenticator for one thing or a different authenticator for a different thing, you could do whatever. So you definitely want to use an authenticator for these when you do sign up for them, just to enable the second authentication that it is you that is logging into these. If you're keeping any valuables on the site for longer than you're going to be paying attention to them, you're going to want to make sure that anybody can't just log into here and steal your stuff. And that's definitely a way to help protect yourself in that situation. So basically, you would go through here, you would sign up. You want to click register. They'll send you the verification email. You go through that, and that's more or less all you have to do. And then you are on to localbitcoins.com. Now, a lot of people, when you do buy Bitcoins on here, they are going to want to make sure that you have a certain amount of transactions or certain feedback before you transact with them at a certain amount. So if this is like your first 1 through 5 deals, you might only be able to buy $50 to $100 or $200 of Bitcoin at once, depending on where you're buying them from, because people aren't going to trust a lot of people who have new accounts, because you can pretty much fake a lot of things that go on here. That being said, you always want to make sure that you do make sure that the escrow is being funded before you do release any money to the seller. If the escrow has not been funded, then you want to make sure that you do contact the seller, or you do not send the money until you hear something from the seller of why the escrow hasn't been funded. The escrow account is there for your safety. The escrow is definitely going to be funded every transaction you make, and pretty much if you don't see what an escrow more or less is when you go through and you make this transaction, there's going to be a little box that they'll have you fill out. They'll ask you how much you want to buy. You'll fill out in money how much you want to buy, or in Bitcoin. It'll go through it, say, do you really want to make this account transaction? And then you click yes, and then you'll hear something back from your seller based on whatever way you pick to transact. If you pick this seller and you did potentially a Wells Fargo transaction, you could go down through this and you could potentially buy Bitcoins through Wells Fargo based on how they want their transaction to be done. Now, this is written in Spanish, and I don't read Spanish, so I can't tell you how it should be done. But if you are going to be buying, a large amount of cryptocurrencies with fiat cash or with money through a bank, you do not want to be sending these through a bank, more or less. You don't want to be sending $5,000 and $10,000 through Western Union or through a bank, because it is very shady either way, and it could potentially raise red flags. Investing in Bitcoins and cryptocurrency is not illegal, but sending money, large sums of money, could potentially raise a red flag for money laundering, and you don't want people looking at you. Cryptocurrencies have already got kind of a negative aspect to them for money laundering and drugs and all that stuff that people do with them. Cryptocurrencies, a lot of people are getting into them now for investments, and that's what a lot of people are really doing with them, is investments. So there's nothing to be scared about when you're investing in these, but there are reasons why people will look at you, and there's other reasons. They're definitely going to be looking at the negative reason of you making this transaction over the positive reason. So if you are sending, $20,000, $30,000 via a bank transfer or something like that, where you have to go in and fill out all their information. A lot of people or a lot of eyes are going to be watching that transaction. It could potentially be worse for you to do that. If you do want to put that much money into cryptocurrencies, as I've said before, you don't want to put in all of your capital at once. So if you do want to invest, $40,000, maybe sign up for a Coinbase, go to a Bitcoin ATM, maybe sign up for a Coinbase and put in $10,000, go to a Bitcoin ATM and put in $2,000 or $3,000, and then wait a couple weeks. As I said, you always want to buy in at different percentages. You don't want to put all your capital in at once. And then maybe sign up for LocalBitcoins, and I'll talk about some other ways that you can buy cryptocurrencies on here as well, which is another great thing. So that's what I'm actually going to talk about now, more or less. So another great way to buy cryptocurrencies, we'll go back to buy and we'll scroll down, or actually we'll go up to online offers, and you want to click on, gives you pretty much every way that you can buy cryptocurrencies on here. So you've got cash by mail, cash deposit. Cash by mail, more or less, is you're just really putting your trust in somebody that you are sending them cash in the mail, and they're going to send the Bitcoin to the wallet that you send them. A lot of these people, you want to make sure that you check their feedback as much as you possibly can, because you are literally just sending them cold hard cash in the mail, and they're going to, if they don't want to, they don't have to give you your cryptocurrencies. So that is definitely one of the more risky ways to do it. But if you scroll through here, it'll give you a lot of different ways. And if you go the whole way down to the very bottom, you can do in-person cash. Now, what that more or less means is you can meet up with somebody and buy cryptocurrencies. So if we search for that, it gives you a list of people who are selling cryptocurrencies in cash. And what you can more or less do is contact these people and meet up with them in person to buy cryptocurrencies. So if we click on this, whoops, wrong thing, let's go to buy. If we click on this, it'll bring up the page about how you can purchase cryptocurrencies from this person. A lot of these people have meeting locations or preferable locations that they have to meet, or a general location where they are located, where they like to meet at. So this person's meeting location is a BP gas station at Harvard and I-77. Essentially, if you wanted to purchase Bitcoins from them, you could contact them here, set up the trade, and more or less you'd want to set up the trade here, contact them, and set up a time and all that. Then you would be able to get your Bitcoins in person. Now, when you do this, you always want to make sure that you are still checking the feedback of everybody, because you're taking cash to a meeting location. But I've met different people through localbitcoins.com in person, and I've never met anybody shady or anything like that. A lot of people into cryptocurrencies, you have that kind of like a negative look at them. You have a lot of people who you think are gonna go out there and scam people, but a lot of people in this space are people who have generally been involved in this space in a long time. And a lot of people who are going to meet you in person are people who, are decently confident, unless, they're going to show up to rob you or anything like that. But they're people who are, a lot of times you can meet with them and talk, and you can kind of build a small relationship, friendship with them, and just talk about cryptocurrencies. And that's more or less how I got involved in more and more cryptocurrencies, was because people that I was buying cryptocurrencies or Bitcoins off of on here were telling me about other cryptocurrencies. As I talked about, the one person I was buying them from told me about Ethereum. I went out and bought Ethereum, and then that's pretty much just what got me so interested in other cryptocurrencies, were just my gains from Ethereum. And then I jumped into Ripple and them and all that at the beginning of the year, and saw some decent gains from that. And it's just something that once you start getting into, you want to keep enjoying. Buying Bitcoins with localbitcoins.com in cash, in person, is definitely the way that you want to do it. If it is somebody more or less that you can trust, that you're not going to want to go out and take a $10,000 transaction to this person your first time. They only do have a $100 to $7 limit, but potentially somebody that does have, a $10,000 transaction that they are willing to do. You don't want to go out and do a full $10,000 transaction with them, your first time. But potentially, as you do more and more transactions, you can build up that relationship and start to work with them. So I'm not really sure why this isn't loading. So I think that just means that we got to go check out our next place to buy cryptocurrencies. Now, my next place to buy cryptocurrencies is kind of interrelated with the first place, because they're owned by the same place. I'm sure you know who it is now. It's GDAX. Now, GDAX is actually a cryptocurrency exchange. You can sign up for this. You can buy Bitcoins and other cryptocurrencies on here with fiat cash more or less that is in your bank account. So you can tie your bank account to here and you can buy cryptocurrencies. You can move your cash onto the exchange, and then when you sell your cryptocurrencies, you can move your cash out of the exchange into your bank account. So a lot of people who are getting into Coinbase and stuff like that, and they keep asking me like, where should I exchange, where should I buy, like what should I do, how should I trade for other cryptocurrencies? And I tell them like, sign up for Bittrex, sign up for Binance, and they're like, oh, that's too difficult, I don't want to do all that. And I'm like, well, if you want to, sign up for potentially GDAX, it's the same thing as Coinbase. You're not taking any more risk in signing up for a random company. You can connect your bank account and everything to it just like you have connected to your Coinbase, and you have a lot more options once you get your currencies on there. You don't have to send them or take the risk of sending them to another exchange or sending to other wallets or whatnot. That being said, GDAX also has ownership of your coins in their wallet, and all you have is kind of a subsidiary wallet that your coins show up in. So you always want to take your cryptocurrencies out of here whenever you're content. So if you buy into into Bitcoin and you wanted to get Verge, so you buy into XVG and you pull out your XVG into a wallet that supports XVG, and that's it. You don't have to worry about losing your XVG or anything like that on the exchange if something were to happen. Or a lot of people on GDAX, a situation that comes up a lot between Coinbase and GDAX both, because they have such mass amounts of traffic, is actually you have the website kind of gets temporarily DDoS'd, which is just more or less when you cannot access the website because there are so many people accessing it at once that there is a denial of service, because there are so many clicks going on in the website that their servers can't keep up with all the clicks more or less at once. So this happened a few other times earlier in the year with cryptocurrencies when they started booming in June and July. And a lot of these website servers got bogged down immensely because of that. So you're going to see that start to happen more and more as more and more people start to get into these. And Coinbase and GDAX are definitely very susceptible to those. GDAX also has margin trading available, so you can actually have flash crashes happen on that, where more or less you can't really access the site and things happen when the site goes down. And things have happened where people have lost large amounts of money. Between here and Kraken, the exchange Kraken has had a few flash crashes recently. And what a flash crash more or less is, it's when buys and the sells, they kind of don't agree with each other. So if you've ever paid attention to the in-depth trading and watch the green and red cell walls as I brought them up, they kind of just meet here and they watch each other. Now what happens on a flash crash more or less is nobody's in there making these trades, and something happens. One person can manage to get in here and they will buy up all these trades. If you trade on margins, more or less you're saying, if you trade Ethereum margins, we'll say for example, you have maybe 100 Ethereum in your account, and you say, okay, I'm trading Ethereum at $700 right now. If Ethereum hits $200, sell, and then you'll buy back at a different time, but you're going to sell because potentially who knows what's going to happen, why Ethereum dropped that low. So you have a sell signal to go off when it drops to a certain price. A lot of people don't have their sells set off until it goes down to $5 or $10. So what can happen in a flash crash is that you have a buy order that goes down, and it can literally buy all of these orders because you don't have any resistance going on to fight back. So someone can go and buy all of these orders more or less and activate all of these lower orders, and you have people who can lose potentially millions of dollars because their stop losses activate. And eventually when the website starts going again, maybe in a couple minutes, they sign in and they have nothing left in their account, and other people sign in and they had all these buys and stuff or whatnot going on, and they have all this money in their account and they're potentially millionaires, because more or less what can happen is there was no actual trading going on and there was nobody to fight the resistance, and something pulled back on the website when there was just a denial of service going on. A lot of people lose money, so that is why I do not ever margin trade. That is an option on GDAX though, if you are somebody who is trying to get into cryptocurrencies from the outside world. There's not really many ways to buy Bitcoin. You can Google buying Bitcoin. It'll give you a few different places where you can buy Bitcoins with your credit card online. As I talked about, I made a video before where I bought cryptocurrencies, or I bought Bitcoin more or less from a Bitcoin ATM machine, but there are ATM machines that are starting to integrate other cryptocurrencies that you can buy from them. So as that happens, you're going to be able to select potentially Monero, Ethereum, Litecoin, or whatever you want to buy, and you'll be able to scan the wallet that supports that coin, and you'll be able to buy that coin at a cryptocurrency ATM machine. That's why I think cryptocurrency ATM machines are going to be one of the greatest things, because everything that could potentially happen on here, as I talked about, the biggest thing is you don't own your cryptocurrencies. So the negative things that can happen on GDAX, you could just be DDoS, you could be locked out of your wallet, unable to sell at a high point if you wanted to sell your currencies, or you just might be able to not be able to access your cryptocurrencies for a little bit of a time, as well as on Coinbase, because Coinbase also sees these kinds of problems when they get such high traffic. The negative thing about LocalBitcoins is that you have to make sure that you are using the escrow accounts and you are using everything on here to your best advantage. You never want to make a transaction before the escrow is funded. You always want to make sure you check everybody's feedback that you're working with. Check the people who've left the feedback. Make sure they're not just fake accounts that were made and somebody's trying to scam you. Always make sure if you're doing a Western Union or something like that, you are not doing a large amount of money at once, or your first time doing it, more or less, because it can raise red flags or you could get scammed. You also want to make sure if you are transacting through PayPal on here, sometimes people can do PayPal chargebacks, and if you are selling on here, that could be bad for you. If you are somebody that is buying and you attempt to do that, they could tell PayPal, and you could get your PayPal suspended for being fraudulent with your PayPal. So don't try to be an idiot. Just try to be honest and truthful in this whole cryptocurrency space. You have too many people who are trying to scam people out there, and too many people who are ignorant to cryptocurrencies and whatever's going on, and aren't really knowledgeable about how to stay safe in this spot. Number one rule: maintain and hold your cryptocurrencies in your own personal wallet. That being said, if you have not entered my ledger, get my words mixed up, we're at the end of the video, we got to stick together here. If you have not entered my Ledger Nano S cryptocurrency giveaway, wallet video, whatever, that link is down below, and all you have to do to enter in that is leave a comment under the video, subscribe to my channel, and I will be doing a live stream YouTube video on either December 24th or 25th, and I'll be doing the giveaway for that to a random commenter under that video. All I can tell you guys is that's pretty much all I've got for today. I'm going to get out of this random blank page here because that's not really helping me. Cryptocurrencies are growing massively. Bitcoin's up to over $19,144 and growing. It's shot up, and more people are getting into it. More and more people are spreading out the wealth. Cryptocurrency market cap is potentially going to hit $650 to $700 billion before the end of the year. Seeing that it can grow up to $30-40 billion in a day, there's no reason why it can't. That being said, there can also be major fluctuations in it. As I talked about in the holiday season coming up, I think there could be a potential pullback due to the banking systems being closed for the extended weekends, 2 weeks in a row. A lot of times you see a lot of volatile markets when that happens, when the U.S. Banking institutions are closed for extended periods of time. Other than that, guys, just keep trading, keep holding if you're in the red, because, all these cryptocurrencies keep growing. If you would have, invested in cryptocurrencies, 5 or 6 months ago, and you wouldn't have traded and held your cryptocurrency, you potentially would have been making more money than you are trading, because these cryptocurrencies, they're all having a boom, all individually, because they're all different and unique. They might not all make it in the long run, but a lot of people are getting interested in them right now. Always stay vigilant in this ever-growing cryptocurrency space. I'll be back next week to make another video for you guys and talk to you guys more. But if you are trying to dip your feet into cryptocurrencies, here's 3 new places that you can take advantage of getting into this ever-growing cryptocurrency space. I will also have links below for these places that I mentioned, GDAX, Coinbase, and LocalBitcoins.com. Always make sure you go out and Google every scam that could potentially happen on these websites too before you start really using them. I know Coinbase started a phone support not too long ago, and they have a lot of exchanges are starting to have phone calls that are calling people trying to get their private information, and they're actually trying to overtake their potential bank accounts as well as their cryptocurrency accounts. That's the kind of negative thing about giving all your personal information out to sign up for some of these exchanges and things, and that's kind of why I like LocalBitcoins and Bitcoin ATMs more. You know, you always want to stay safe in this ever growing space and enjoy. I'll talk to you guys next week.